how are you all? After a long break, I'm back again. I'm Mona Lisa Joshi. I'm the founder and director of Chrysanthemum Chronicles. It's a contemporary publishing house, and we have just celebrated Durga Puja, Dashera, and I think you all enjoyed it to your most. And because of this festivity only, I took a little break and now I'm back again. But I have to tell you that this is the last episode of season 3 happening, and after that, in mid November, I will bring many new authors and we will have lots of fun session interviews during season 4. So now let me quickly welcome today's guest, who is a very good friend of mine, Dr. Harshali Singh. Hello Harshali ji, welcome to the virtual talk show, Mona Lisa's talk show.
Thank you, Mona Lisa. I'm so happy to be here and to be a part of your talk show. I think it's been long overdue, and I'm so glad that I'm going to be ending your season 3.
Absolutely. And this has become even more special because you are here for the last episode. I'm so glad.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So let's begin with the Q&A, which is going to be more of fun-filled session today, impromptu questions, and let's see what we get in answers from Dr. Harshali. So before I start, I really want to congratulate you for your latest book. Not latest, but it's latest for me because I haven't got my copy yet. Anarkali, which is doing really good. You got lots of rave reviews. So tell me, how
Thank
did
you.
you get the idea that you wanted to write Anarkali?
I was actually, we were talking about the 4th book in the Haveli series, and I was talking to my publisher Dipankar from Readomania, and we were talking about how women and of today's age group and of the past were still struggling with what did they want to, why were they struggling with making choices of between love and between ambition. And so we got to talking, and he said, who are the women in history that you feel have not been given their due? And immediately my answer was, look at Anarkali. And though we've grown up on her songs and on her videos and on the movie, of course, because I'm from that generation, jab pyar kiya to darna kya, and that was that was my youth, so to say. um, as soon as you say Anarkali, Madhubala is the one that comes to your mind. Now, at that point of time, of course, without any two thoughts, that's one of the, the epic movies of, I think, all the eras of movies. However, at this age, maybe I felt that I found it a little one-dimensional, so to say, and I felt that the she was not given her due in terms of as a woman. I mean, of course, she's shown as a lovelorn lady who falls in love with Salim and everything. But I felt that somewhere or the other, I wanted to know more about her and who she was as a woman. And I felt that lacuna there when I kind of think back on the movie now. So that is, that was my first instinct. So then he said, okay, why don't you write about her? So I said, yeah, that's a wonderful idea, but I don't know whether, so then I had to research and I had to go to libraries, talk to a lot of people who are teaching history in Aligarh Muslim University, etc. And people who are aware of that time, the Mughal era. And then after reading, after researching, I realized that Anarkali does not exist in history. Nobody has written about her, while she was the one who impacted two very great emperors, Akbar and Salim, or Jahangir as he was later known. She is nowhere in their chronicles of their time. So that, I think, the fact that she was so absent was made her more conspicuous to me. And hence I wanted to write about her. I wanted to write about her as a woman and how she would have been, if she is a young girl, because at that point of time, young girls were brought into the harem. They were groomed to be concubines for the pleasure of the king and the court. And she had nobody at her, back. Like, she didn't know anybody. She was not connected. So she could not have been just a woman or a young girl who who was constantly thinking about love and stuff like that. She had to be smart, she had to be intelligent, she had to have the cunning and the wherewithal of knowing how to find, manipulate the situation around her so that she was the most important person for the king, because he would not have had a dearth of women who were not beautiful. It could not only have been beauty. Of course, the first thing is beauty, that oh, she's so beautiful. He renamed her into Anarkali. Of course, that is there. But I don't think she would have held his attention for too long with only that. She would have needed the understanding of which role to play with whom. So certainly, I think that is what I wanted to write, and that is what I wanted to project her as a woman who maybe not always made the right choices, maybe not always made heroine-like choices, but she was a woman who was a full-bodied woman with shades of gray, with shades of black, and she was a full woman like all of us. She had emotions of jealousy and fear and insecurity, etc. as well. So certainly, I mean, I felt the need to write about her as a woman that I would assume someone like that would be. So that's how Anarkali took. That was the genesis of Anarkali.
But this makes me curious here, that all we know that there's already a lot through like media. We have
Hmm.
movies, we have some
Hmm.
other written, books on Anarkali. So did it
Hmm.
really strike you at some point that, I'm again telling the story which has already been written in some form? Or you could have chosen some unsung, unsung heroine or woman. So did it
Hmm.
strike you that will it do good? Will people read? Although it has done wonderful. That's a great thing.
No, I think when I start writing, I don't think about that. Is the story good enough to be liked by others? I think as a writer, as an author, I think this is one of the things I've kind of held on to. That I want to write for myself first. I mean, something that I would like to read, and maybe then think whether it is marketable or not. That I leave to the publisher to decide. But uh, but essentially, when I'm writing a book, publishing is, I think, the farthest thing from my mind. uh, so I can compartmentalize myself to that extent where I say, okay, I need to write this because I need to write it, or I would like to read it like this. Beyond that, once it's over, once I hand it over, maybe then I think, oh, maybe can I do things differently and all that. But by then I've already moved on. I'm already thinking about the next one and what I'm supposed to do for the next one. So I think there, I don't know whether you would call it a blessing or maybe not. That I think I would need to ask Dipankar that. But when I'm writing it, I'm completely within it. I mean, I'm in the story. So then I'm not thinking ki, has somebody else written it and all that. Plus, I was writing it from the perspective of a woman. Like the book is only about Anarkali. Of course, you have to write about the facts of where Akbar was, what he was doing, what is, because there's nothing written about her. So you have a huge landscape to, kind of base your story around. But again, because it's historical fiction, you want to stay true to the facts. You can't mess around with that. So there lies the kind of the understanding as to how much to focus on what Salim is doing or what Akbar is doing and who is fighting whom and are the brothers close or not. So once you're researching, there's so much to write. You want to write about everything, but sadly, as you're being a publisher, you realize that there is a limit of words, there is a limit of pages, and the book has to be a certain number of words, etc. So वहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा you want to kind of focus on what you're and stay true to what you have decided the story is going to be about. And I think that happens in the editing bit of it. Even if you kind of you've gone on a tangent or something, तो आपका editor वापस खींच के आपको ले आता है कि no, this is not required. So that happens. The floor is sometimes littered with lots of parts of the story that may not kind of be adding to that story. Maybe it can be another story like subplots, etc., or sub characters. But certainly for this one, I think after so many, after like three books, this was my fourth solo book. So I wanted to, I think I understood that I have to focus my research to a particular point. So, and so that is why I think it became, I mean, I had to pull myself away from the, from reading about the kind of the way they were living, the way they were, the way the harems were, how they were placed, the hierarchy and all of that. But I feel the amount of reading I did for this book, it gave me a lot of confidence to stand behind my work. So I feel anything that you read, and you're a voracious reader yourself, you realize that, nothing goes waste. Anything you read will add only to your knowledge. So
Yeah.
I think for that, I have to say that uh, जितना भी मैंने लिखा है, I think that helped me to understand how to plot it, how to make sure that the story is tighter. And जो थोड़ी बहुत कसर रह गई, वो my Indrani, the editor, was like holding on to it. कि no, you have to stay. And thankfully, Touchwood, the idea was to, as I was telling you earlier, also the idea was to write about the woman behind the persona. Because she's known as this very flamboyant, very glamorous, very damsel in distress kind of woman, and I've gone the other end. That of course she's glamorous, of course she's flamboyant, but there is insecurity, there is jealousy, there is everything else. What happens when you achieve your dream? Her dream was to be the celebrated concubine of the court. तो वो तो उसको मिल गया. अब she got that dream. Now what am I supposed to do with it? So she's a young girl who's living with an old man. How would her relationship with him be? And will boredom set in once you have achieved what you wanted to do? Like even the youth today, they achieve everything at maybe early 40s, late 30s. They've got a big house. Or hum logon ko, we had to really struggle to reach that point. So we treasure it so much more. And while I see the youth gets everything quite early now. I mean, you get a
Yeah.
good pay package, you get, you're able to, things have become easier. So I see a lot
Yeah.
of exhaustion, a lot of boredom setting in by the late 40s, by the, that kind of time when जिसको midlife crisis बोला जाता था एक time पे, so then so
Exactly.
these are the things I wanted to relate to the real world, that those things were happening to her as well, and how she dealt with them.
And have you given that Salim love angle to your story as well?
I have, but with a slight twist.
Okay.
That Salim is there, of course, because he is the fulcrum on which the story turns.
Yeah.
In fact, one of I know you've not read the book, but and I'm sure. So I hope I am able to whet your appetite, and you go and buy the book
I'll,
and read it, or
no, no,
whatever
it has
with your
already
readers.
started, Allure.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm already feeling alert, so I'm going to get a copy soon. Because I have also started this new book club where I'm adding new books to my collection and I'm reviewing
Wonderful.
them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, chalo, I'm hoping that Anarkali fills one gap in your book club. And so, yeah, I mean,
First thing I have to tell you that I love your writing. I love it.
oh,
You have a way with words.
thank you so much. That means so much, Mona Lisa. From a writer coming, this kind of comment coming to me is a very big deal for me. Thank
And
you so much. So kind of you.
till day, my favorite book is this, The Anatomy of Choice.
Oh, Anatomy of.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I have,
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. I can't deny.
yeah,
So yeah, coming back to Anarkali, I think for the Salim angle, as you were asking me, of course she is part of that feeling of that someone younger is giving her the attention that she wants. But I think somewhere she realized, I mean, in the movies and in the plays, etc., they tend to show that she does not know that he is the that he's the stepson, but she's living in the palace, so she had to know that, because he's the heir apparent. So it's those kind of things. I think I felt that she would have known, and it would have been about power struggle rather than true love, so to say. But I've brought in the true love angle. The romantic in me has not been able to let go of that true love angle. So I think Durjan is the one who fills that space for her. Durjan is Mansing's son and his childhood friend who's with him. So I think the romantic in me cannot let go of that the fact that you find the person whom you are connected to, so to say, or your soul is connected to. You may or may not be able to be with them in this lifetime, but certainly I think all my heroines find them. So yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to know one thing that long back, I think I did another interview of yours long back on some, I think on my blog maybe, or maybe a digital coffee table book, if I remember. So there I read that you have written these Haveli series inspired from a true actual Haveli which you
Yeah.
visited. So I want to
Yeah.
know that story.
Yeah, actually, when I was in college, in fact, I'd recently met my college friend after about 27, 28 years, and we were talking about it, that how strange it is, that how nice it is actually that we had actually just gone for a festival in the college, and we'd gone to buy some stuff from Chandni Chowk and all of that. And I always say that youth is very entitled. You feel you can go anywhere, and you can do anything. And
Yeah.
as you grow older, you lose that confidence somewhere. You keep second guessing yourself, क्या हम ये कर सकते हैं, क्या हमें करना चाहिए, and stuff
Huh.
like that. But in when you're young, you feel everything. The life will fall on your feet, on your near your feet, and you can just do what you feel like. So in the same way, I mean, a group of our friends, we'd gone to Chandni Chowk, and there was this small teal door, or there was a. So we just entered because वहाँ renovation चल रही थी, तो हंसते खेलते we just entered that. And I've been brought up in multi-story flats, in government flats. So that was I tell everybody this, that it was like a new world open to me. I mean,
La La Land of yours.
actually, that was La La Land for me, because I am used to so many community living, right, condo living, but that was like big pillars and Roshandan or Chhatri thi wahan pe, and the balcony coming out in one place,
Huh.
jali wali balcony, and there was a courtyard in the middle,
Yeah.
and you could see it all, like a rectangle. And you're from Bengal, so you know what I'm talking about, the old houses that you would
Ah.
see in Calcutta maybe. So those kind of things I saw there, and it was winters at that point of time, and there was a ray of light, like a sunbeam that came, and it fell right at my feet, and there were these dust
Okay.
motes which were flying in it. And it's
Huh.
like that moment, that kind of, how in life you have these moments where your mind will click a picture, and it will stay like that, like a crystal clear picture in your mind forever. So that was that moment, I think, where everything went silent, and I realized that if I ever write a book, this Haveli is going to feature in that. And somehow this Haveli then became the sutradhar of my books. And because earlier I was planning
Yeah.
to write a big tome of a book with all the siblings in the same book, but Dipankar, who's again published these books as well, he gave the idea that why don't you make it into a series, so that you are able to do justice to each character, because there's
Yeah.
so many characters with 7 siblings and a parent, and the
Huh.
parents are there's a best friend, there's so many people in the. So he said it'll be better if you. So I agree. I mean, I feel having a person who's like a mentor, a guide, who knows what is to be done, is very essential. So it was his idea that let's break it up into 8 parts, and then let's concentrate on one sibling. And that's how the Haveli series came about. And the Haveli became a narrator, or the person who was bringing the story forward or telling you the backstory at times. So his voice is very much there. And it's about how Havelis talk to each other, and how the mausoleum of a courtesan who is close by, as he was talking about Anatomy of Joyce, usme there is a,
Yeah.
courtesan ka, there is a
Tomb, I
mausoleum, a
guess.
tomb nearby. So, so how they talk to each other in relationships. So, so that is how it came about.
So I see a lot of women-oriented theme in your stories as well. Like here, a window to her dreams, we see a submissive and suppressed Aruna, and then we have the anatomy of choice, where we see a strong, level-headed girl, and then
Hmm.
we have paradox of dreams. She is blind, but she has some strange kind of magic with her.
Yeah.
So you have chosen all the women characters. So is there any particular reason that why you write always women oriented stories and novels?
I think because I think I'm a feminist at heart. I am a feminist,
Hmm.
and I don't mean the aggressive, very aggressive feminist. I don't know whether there are. I mean, there are different types of people. I don't know whether you can really categorize feminism, but I believe that in equal opportunity, that I will respect you, but you respect me too. Wala feminism, and I think. Women are very complex people. uh, they have
Yeah.
not yet, मतलब हम हनुमान जी हैं, हमें अपनी शक्तियों का ज्ञान नहीं है. So so I keep wanting to tell women that you are capable of so much, you can do so much, and yet you believe that you need to be dependent on somebody else. And
Hmm.
maybe this is my way of maybe adding to that. If even one woman can read my work and be affected with it, or be affected by it, and try and find solutions or strength within herself, because I think, yes, I do write women who are very strong in their core. So they have a lot of emotional strength. Core strength is quite a lot, or they find it, let me put it like that. And they have a
Yeah.
support system of women, whether through sisters or through a mother or through friends, uh, who support each other and who help each other come up. And so there may be competition, because I think that has become part of our DNA. But I certainly want to write more and more, and I think now the voices are growing stronger, where I see more women, rather than judging each other, are trying to help each other find their way. Wherein, if you see, a lot of groups have opened up, a lot of people stepping up, women stepping up, who are policymakers, who are trying to help others, to because you've opened the door, now you need to hold it open for other women to
Hmm.
walk in through that door.
Yeah.
So I think it is our duty, it is our responsibility, that now that we've got the seat at the table, it should not be, okay, close the door. कि मैं आ गई हूँ अब बस हो गया. It should be about helping other
Lifting each
women
other up.
reach, yes, lifting them up. So I
Yeah.
and maybe it's also to do with the fact that I like reading this kind of work. I like reading women literature, and I like reading about smart women, intelligent women,
Hmm.
who figure out process their issues, process their problems, and whatever they decide, it is not necessary that every time you have to be a fighter. I think courage can be in different forms and ways. And who are we to say that a woman who chooses to be in a certain place is less courageous than someone who chooses to walk out, or chooses to decide to end a relationship. So I feel this whole concept of women having courage only when they can take a very a decision which is against the grain of society. I think that kind of is like shaming somebody to say, okay, you are not courageous enough, while I feel that it takes more courage to decide that this is my given circumstance and I need to stay within it. And I mean, I think more power to everybody. I feel to all women who make the choice, whatever that may be, to do what is right for them, because one never knows what the other person is going through. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Now, Aparna Salvi Nagra has written, my favorite book is The Paradox of Dreams. So let's talk about this book. And
Yeah.
I want to know that you have shown three characters by now. You must be writing your fourth one.
Yeah.
And how is this thing coming to your mind that you have to do, that difference in each character? Like one has to hold this psychic ability, one has to has this, a very level-headed, strong kind of mind, and she rebels. So how all these ideas are coming, or already it's already all planned in your mind? You have done the homework already in some at some place, and you're now just putting them in a book.
Yeah, I actually, all the people I meet, uh, all my characters are drawn from there. So most of my friends say, "Okay, you have written about me," and I tell them, "Look, I am writing about you." So a lot of
Okay.
the characters of all my books are from the people I know, from very real people who are around me, or I have met at some point in time, or stories or things that I have affected me, to question why something is happening, and wanting to explore, what would lead a woman to do this, or what would another woman probably react in such a situation, or if she had to find strength in the situation, how would she do it, how would I do it. So it's, I think change comes through questioning, change comes through asking why. Though I think जब हम छोटे थे तो everybody used to say don't ask, क्यों मत पूछो. And I always was the naughty one who used to say, अच्छा, why should I do this, why is this happening. So I think that helped me in some way, or didn't, I don't know. But I think I've always questioned the norm, and that's why I want to write about themes and stories which question the conformity of people, of why will they conform to a certain thing even if they are conforming. like uh, like all my the women that I write about, whether it's Aruna, whether it's Bhavya, or it is Charu, or for that Uma, the mother, they're all people who are living everyday lives, and you can, I'm sure, I mean, in fact, most of people say that they can relate to these stories, these people, these characters, right? So
Yeah.
so I think that is where it comes from, because they're derived from real people. The characteristics and the fights and the making up and all of that between siblings and everything, it's all derived from the real life. So maybe mine, may not be mine, that's not the question, but the fact is that I think that is what gives, I think for me that is essential. I can't, I'm not I'm not able to uh, write about imaginary worlds. Maybe one day I will write another Harry Potter, but as of now, no. I have to write about real people. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think that is why it feels real, because of that. So Paradox of Dreams mm, was a, actually, I didn't, the first book I wrote, I'd already made her blind. Now in this book I had to decide how to, and what would happen to a person, because I was focused on Aruna in that book, and in the
Huh.
second book was Bhavya. So yes, she's there, but she is a sub character. So I didn't really explain how she lost her eyesight, etc., and what was the reason behind it. And so every book opens up a small mystery of what the loose ends that are left in the first book. Like, why is the Haveli called Anwar? So in Paradox of Dreams, the readers come to know that why does Charu call the Haveli Anwar? So that was one of the things that I wanted to do. That as you
There
start
are
reading,
Easters hidden in your books.
sorry,
I'm saying there are Easter hidden in your books, all your books.
yes, yes, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying, that you can read any of the books alone. As a standalone book, you can read it. But I hope that I'm able to generate enough curiosity that you will want to know, okay, what happened to the other sister? what happened to the brother. Right now, I'm on the fourth book. With the brother who's the only brother between six sisters, and wo
Yeah.
North India mein hai. What is the kind of pressure that a man would feel, or a young man would feel, being surrounded by women all the time? What is the dynamics of that situation? So things like that. I think I'm enjoying the exploration that I'm doing of relationships that intermingle, are very complex, and
But I
again,
really
even
want to know one thing here, that why did you
yeah.
choose to write, your story on with such a big family? You could have chosen two brothers, three brothers, sisters, like seven siblings. Why particularly such a big family?
I have no idea, Mona Lisa. I really don't know. Oh my god. I really don't know. I mean, I think because I love the idea. I was three. We were three sisters, and we were in a nuclear family, and
Yeah,
I think in my mind I see that वो एक कौन सी मूवी है ना, हम आपके हैं कौन, or something, where there's this big family, joint family. I think that was my ideal family. There are a lot of people in the house, and you're never lonely, you're never alone. You have somebody to go and talk to, and all of that. Maybe it's that need for me to have lots of siblings, that you're always surrounded by laughter and all of that. In fact, my best friend, now where I live, she lives in the same condo, and I keep telling her that I love to come to your house, because every time I would come, there would be a cousin who would be staying over. There were like two three cousins who were over, so there was always chehel pehel, and there was something happening, some drama happening in the house. So it used to be so much fun, while we were like the quieter ones, all three of us in our own rooms and all of that. So that is,
so from inside, you love a big, happy joint family
I,
and all that hustle and bustle. You like
yeah,
that.
yeah, I
So
think so.
so you have
And but
created
my
your own world of that.
Yes, yes, I think I've created my joint family. I've created my siblings and everything.
Yeah. So now I want to know that you are writing on the fourth character. That's the brother, and
Yeah.
obviously you won't be giving any spoilers. But is there any special ability that you have given him as well?
Well, what can I say? I can't write the book at night. Normally, I would write, the book in the night, and
Okay, so that gives the hint.
but this book I cannot write in the night. So that is why it is taking longer, because you're at work, and by evening you are like completely sozzled at the end of the day. And when you do sit down to write it, I'm like looking over my shoulder कि कुछ हो तो नहीं रहा. So that should be enough
This
idea.
will be a new angle then. Wow.
Yes. You gave me a very good opportunity. Now, so
Okay.
I tried my hand at it, but let's see what happens out of this one. So let's see.
Okay.
But writing a short story is easier, because you can get over with it in 2 or 3 days. It's fine. You can find the time. But this is taking so much longer, because my writing time was late night. I would, you would not go to sleep, or you would wake up really early. But with this book, I'm not able to.
So then I'll look eagerly for it because that's my favorite genre. I love to read.
Really? Oh my god!
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't know
god!
whether you have
That's
followed any
pressure.
of. Yeah, I don't know whether you have followed the previous interviews, but I've done interviews of horror authors. Most of them were like, I have
Yeah.
called Neil
Yeah.
De Silva, Abhirup Dhar, Anirban Bhattacharya. So they are all horror authors, and it was really
Yeah.
fun knowing their, methodology, how they write, and especially some of them like actually go to the haunted places and then write.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not doing that. I don't even know whether this story will see the light of the day, because if the rate I'm going at, it's very, very slow. So I just might think of something else or whatever.
No,
Dekte
no,
hain
no.
kya
It
hota
will
hai.
come out. It will come out well. Don't worry. You are such a good
Uh,
writer.
Fingers crossed.
So now this brings me to the rapid fire, and this is
Okay.
something fun. And try to be monosyllabic as much you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your go-to pastime?
Music.
Okay, music. If you were to choose any one character from all of your books, of whom you can live the life of that character, who would it be?
Uma, the mother.
Okay, but she really is always tiresome person, and she's always running behind her sibling, and they're not give sorry offspring, and they are not giving that kind of attention to her sometimes. So, but still, you would be willing to be Uma.
Maybe I think I would do things a little differently.
Okay.
But I think I just understand where she's coming from. That even though, again, I mean, I'm explaining myself, but I think for Uma, I think it is, she's everything. She is the good where she loves her children and she would do anything, but she's made her mistakes with the husband, with her children, and she accepts those. She's not perfect, and I think no woman is perfect, but the fact that you are mindful of the fact that I am not perfect, and yet you have the capacity to love the way she does. I mean, I'm just waiting to write her book. I think I would like, I want to write her book. It's like I'm looking forward when it is her time, that I want to write her book in, in the way I've taught her. Because abhi
I
kya hai, in every book there is a different aspect of her. You are
Huh.
seeing different facets of her in each book. And yes, she doesn't come across as this very very Nirupa Roy type of person, but
Huh.
but but I still feel that mothers are, I think, most of the times very misunderstood,
Hmm.
and they are not able to communicate what they want to say, even with the children or with the the family sometimes. And I think so. I want to write about her. I'm waiting to write her book, so to so to say. But yeah, I think she is my one of my favorite. She is my most favorite, I would say, because she is a woman for me. She's a full bodied woman for me, who
Hmm.
has made choices which, as I was just saying about Anarkali as well, who may not be always right, but her intent has always been the best. And if she feels that, oh, I'm more, I love my son more than I love my daughters, wala thing, she accepts it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's visible in your book, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so who's your favorite author?
Jane Austen, I think, but also Paulo Coelho because of Alchemist. Um, I think I would go with Jane Austen any day. I think I find her books way, you know, you know, much ahead of the times that she was writing in. And I think, as a author, I was influenced. As a writer, I think I was influenced to write books which have a very clear feminine voice from her. um, I also like Nora Roberts, and I like Jude Devereux, Judith McNaught, and all of these are contemporary writers, but they have a very strong hold on how to write a good book which is gripping. So different reasons, different authors, but for different reasons that I like. Can I say that I like one person and I've read that that I like them completely? ऐसा नहीं है. Like, I like Chitra Devakurnik for Palace of Illusions. I think that is one of the finest books written, and one hopes to be able to write something like that. But I also love The Alchemist because I read it when it was released, and I thought, oh, it's a nice story, and that was it. But then I read it 10 years after, and I was able to say, oh, how come I didn't understand this about that? This book had this aspect as well. And so, one would want to write a book which a person can read at every age group and take something away from it. And it is like that everlasting book which one wants to have in their collection. But again, you read, Eleanor Oliphant is fine, normal people, these kind of books, and you feel, my God, they've like squeeze your heart, and they make you shed tears, and things like that. So something that impacts me, touches me, makes evokes a response in me. I think I like the book. Most of those books are, I feel, Jane Austen's. Uh, so I think, yeah, I think I'll go with that. इतना लंबा आंसर दे रही हूँ मैं सॉरी
नहीं, it's fine.
supposed to be monosyllable.
Okay, so let's ask. I have to ask this one. Do you have any hidden hobby apart from writing?
Singing, I think. Hidden तो नहीं
Okay,
है. I think I sing very often, but
I haven't
yeah,
heard.
you haven't heard. We have to meet and do some singing together. Yeah.
But you also paint. I've seen.
I do paint, yes. I haven't for a little while, but because of the house shifting and all of that. And but yes, I do paint as
So
well.
I really want to know that how did your painting journey start? I mean, you have learned, or is it like you're self-taught?
No, no, I learned, I was painting since I was in school, but it was never very seriously. I mean, I would just paint something and I would give it away, or my parents would give it away as gifts or something like that. Somebody would like it and they say, "बहुत अच्छा है, हम frame कराएंगे," and I would just give it away. So it was not, and it was also not that I was painting all the time, or I had watercolors or something open at my desk at all times. It was more because when we were young, I mean, of course, you are of a different generation than me, but we didn't have TV, and वो एक चित्रहार आता था. Sundays
Ah,
used to be the TV time, so we had to find ways to keep
I'm
ourselves
of that
entertained.
generation only.
Oh, okay. I don't think so. You're younger than me, but we are the rotary phone generation. जहाँ पे वो ऐसे
Yeah, yeah,
so
same that.
yeah. So we used to find ways like needle. I was not patient enough to do needlework,
Okay.
but I like to paint. I like to, express myself through colors and all of that. And as I grew up, it kind of changed to different forms like fabric, like other forms of painting. It was only while actually I was writing this book in 2014-15 that I began painting the cover that is on the book, A Window to Her
Window
Dreams.
to her. Yeah.
I was writing it and I started painting what I was the Aruna, basically. She is Aruna, and and that's how the cover came out, and that's how everything happened. But I started painting the flowers and all of that, and gave a lot to my parents. I mean, I think both our houses have lots of my paintings, because how much to keep also. So
Okay.
then I did an exhibition, and that was quite. I never thought I was really good at it, but thankfully it was complete sellout. And then I did another exhibition that also did really well. Then I did a couple of group shows.
Okay.
After that, I think when we moved here, everything went into packing. Like everything got packed and kept inside. Before that, when I got my pet, earlier what used to happen is I used to paint on these big easels, which used to be just there in the drawing room, and the house used to be smelling of turpentine oil, and
Ah,
nobody cared because the kids were old enough. You were not worried that somebody's going to bang into it or spoil it. But once I got the dog, then I had to take out everything and keep everything back, which became a task. So slowly and steadily, I think, it kind of made me feel ki, oh, I only have an hour. So, by the time I will take everything out, it'll be time to do something else. So that's how I think it became a little. So, yeah, but in fact, my friends there the last weekend. I was telling them that now that my house is empty, both the kids have gone. Um, Now I think I need to make one room into a studio and just leave everything there, and maybe use it like
ah,
that. But
absolutely.
yeah,
You should do that. You should again
I
start.
should. I know. Yeah, I know the same thing with my sitar. I started learning, but again, you have everything requires you to either have the space for it to be out in the open, or that you're dedicated enough to take it out and keep it back in. So that, all those things I do want to restart. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that one at a time.
Okay, wonderful. So I look forward to visiting one of your exhibitions one day.
From your mouth to God's ears, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. So, in the end, I just want to ask one more thing, that if you have to give one advice or suggestion to the newbies, to the aspiring authors, what would it be?
I think just stay true to your voice. I think most aspiring authors or people who want to write are very aware of what to do, what is the technical know-how, and how to do it. It's the discipline that is one, and I think everybody knows this now, that you have to write a little bit every day. Otherwise, you get detached from the story. The main thing is uh, that you stay true to your voice, as we were just talking a little bit earlier. That you continue to, you know, make sure that you are aware of who you are writing for. I mean, did you start writing, or did this writing journey start because you wanted to be published, or did you want to write something nice, or did you want to write a story that another person will read and will feel the character's pain or love or whatever emotion you want to project through that story. So कई बार होता है कि once you've written a couple of stories, you lose that thought and you go into what is marketable, what is saleable, and all those kind of things. I think वहाँ पे हम अपनी शफा lose कर देते हैं. Anything that becomes commercial and with the intent to make it commercial somehow loses. That's just my opinion, of course. But I truly believe that if you if you do it with an intent to be commercial with it, it loses that touch. It loses that sweetness that comes from uh, an intent of touching someone else, or making sure the other person feeling the emotions that you want to generate. So, but that's how I think.
No, no, you're right, because I also believe in that. That's why we call ourselves contemporary publishing house with contemporary writers, and
Wow.
and yeah, I mean, I try to touch topics like through the prompts. Of course, we do different
Yeah.
type of prompts, not something that is like marketable, or that will hit the market or something. I just go by heart. Whatever touches my
Yeah.
heart, I bring it out.
I
So I
feel
think I agree.
every book has a reader, Mona Lisa. I feel every book will find
That's
its
true.
readers. Um this whole race of being a best-selling author and doing better than your contemporaries, I think, has taken away the simple joy of writing a story that feels good when you read it out to yourself. That you feel proud of what you've written. कि मैंने अच्छा लिखा है. ये होना चाहिए बस.
Exactly, because most of the authors I've interviewed, unke aage I had to add that best selling thing, and I never got to know kitna best selling. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
really
of course, that's what I'm saying. That you need to be sure. Like there are authors, I'm sure, who, like in any other business. I mean, nobody opens a business thinking that I'm doing it for charity. Similar with authors, if you have started writing with the intent to be among the topmost authors who are like earning their bread and butter through that, then more power to you. I hope you get what you want, but that is not who I am. That's all. That's all. I mean, if that is your intent, then I'm sure you will do well in your chosen path. But for me, I feel that I will lose the simple joy of writing a nice story,
exactly.
um, if I get into this whole racy thing, ki who is
uh,
better than me, who is less than me, and that kind of thing. I don't enjoy that. It takes away. It makes me very exhausted, sort of. Ki,
you know
life
uh,
is,
yeah,
yeah,
this conversation just reminds me of, I was having this word with Anirban Bhattacharya sir, who is the director of Savdhan India. So he was
yeah,
saying, that these days the authenticity has also lost because of the self-publishing, platforms. Every second person can become an author these days. That's also another story.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
kind of believe that because I have received some books for reviewing and they sent me, and when I was reading I felt how did they even had this have this concept कि इनको publish हो जाना चाहिए, because उनका writing बहुत it was so immature. And I shouldn't say this, I'm not saying that we are also perfect, but still this shows that कुछ भी publish हो जाता है आजकल.
Hmm.
So, but of course, we have so many good writers. That's why I'm doing these interviews and I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the process. And
And more power to you, and many, many more seasons to you. And hope we keep doing this, off and on, so that we stay connected. Because I think we both started with each other, and it's lovely to see you grow by heaps and bounds.
thank you so
And
much.
I really wish the very best to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to your book, Anarkali. I'm soon going to order it just after I'm settled in my new house. And also, I'm
Yeah.
also looking forward to your future Haveli series as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
So, bye,
much. Thank you
Harshali.
for
It was
having
lovely
me.
having you. Bye.
Bye bye. See you.
So I was talking to Dr. Harshali Singh, who is a member judge and also an author of the Haveli series. If you haven't read the books, I'll just show you. These are the three books she has written. And there's another one that is not part of Haveli series, but she has written Anarkali. Go ahead and pick them and review them. And also follow my page. And if you are an author, you can connect with me at editorialmagazinecc@gmail.com. I'll drop the link in description. Bye. Have a great evening and wait for season 4. Bye all.